professor, I will test you in the worst way. Don't bring a scantron, it's pop quizzes all day. Cause of our chemistry, we do biology. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement, still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Is it about the kids or a mother's choice? So initially Roe v. Wade was, overturned. It was on the chopping block. Then they brought it up for the final little call, and they overturned it. And you had women protesting, and you had people who were for the bill, pro-choice people protesting. You had pro-life people like finally. Now, what I find interesting about this is this situation is there are two groups of people that never got a chance to speak. That's normally, for sure, it's the unborn kids. For sure. They never got a chance to speak. And then secondly, it would be the fathers who actually wanted kids or didn't even know that they possibly had kids. And, so what I'm going to get into is this. I've seen situations where young ladies decided to be reckless. And the reasons why they had abortions were as followed. I've seen married women get pregnant by side dudes or what do you call that? Say girls trips or ladies nights, right? While they were in relationships. And some of these ladies it was interracial, like it was a white woman with a black man or, vice versa or whatever. And they would go, and they knew they couldn't go home because so they decided to be pro-choice and, get into it with their significant other for that 6-week period, as a way to cover up the fact that they've terminated their pregnancy. I've seen people, and this is not stuff I'm making up, by the way. I've seen people who decided to, how can I say this, live the fast life. And the fast life came with a baby. And they knew the person or the persons or people that they were involved with that were in their life. It was exciting until they realized, I got to be tied to this. If I have this baby, I'm going to be tied to this person. And I don't want the life that they're living. So I got to, be pro-choice. Now, for the record, before I keep going, I've never met a woman who was pro-choice and acted on it, who didn't have remorse. Didn't. Never met one. Then you got the people who use it as a form of birth control. And sometimes I've seen those people do that, and it's sad to say this, but they get pregnant later on and they have a hard time keeping a baby. So they have miscarriages. And it comes up like, is this my punishment for what I did? And, and like I said, I've seen women trap millionaires, and other people got on them about it, and they feel guilty because they literally trapped, poking holes in condoms type trapped, people got on them for that, and their guilt of knowing what they did to the person they've exercised their pro-choice, but they still kind of felt some type of way, which, and people were, did they feel some type of way because they lost out on the money or because it was their moral compass? I can't answer that part, but I've seen that happen before. But at the end of the day, I'll bring my birth story for what I know. My parents were teenagers. When I was born, dad 18, mother 17. My mother was scared to death. They wound up having to have a shotgun wedding before I was born. But my mother was scared, and she was like, my mama gonna kill me. And she wanted to be pro-choice, so she didn't have to get away with it. My grandmother found out, and she took a broomstick. Now, back in the day, broomsticks used to be thick, like this thick. They used to have the thick ones. They were thick and they were wooden. And my grandmother said, I had you. If you get rid of that baby, I'm going to get rid of you. So thus, I'm here. Plus, another thing about that is that particular grandmother, she had either 15 or 18 kids. And 3 of them lived, well, 4 of them were born, and 3 of them lived. One of my quote-unquote uncles, he died at 2. So, because in those days, ladies, they would lose a lot of babies. So, she wasn't feeling that. All right, so I think she was more pro-life. You see what I'm saying? Because of that. So, what is it more important about? I think it's about the kids' lives. Because if you want your life, it's difficult to say you should terminate another person's life. Because your body is your choice, but the body inside your body needs to have an advocate. That's just my thought. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch you on the next one. Peace.